Hello and welcome to Post to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey in all teams. Today we're here to talk about the Montreal Canadiens being eliminated by the New York Rangers. Now I have a bit of a personal connection to this series because Montreal is my favorite team and it was very hard to see them, leave the playoffs. But I don't feel bad about it. They don't deserve to go on to the second round. There's so many things I want to say, but I'll just quickly pass this over to you. How do you feel about this series and the outcome?
I was kind of the independent guy here. I didn't really have a horse in this race. I didn't really care who won or who lost in this series. However, I'm really shocked because through the first three games, I really thought Montreal was going to take this series based on how they looked up against the Rangers. And then suddenly the Rangers found this new form of energy and basically took over the series after that.
I was really surprised with the Rangers defense going into this series. I know that they could be good at times, but they were inconsistent throughout the regular season, so I wasn't sure what defense we were going to get, what we were going to see on the blue line. And I thought they were great, specifically Lundqvist, obviously. He outplayed Carey Price. I'll admit that every day of the week. And you know what? They deserve to win because it wasn't a high-scoring series.
No.
But they shut down Montreal. And if you can do that to a team, any team, if you can shut them down like that, yeah, that's a good strategy.
No offense to Montreal, but I will say that they would be one of the easier teams to shut down, in my opinion. I mean, if we look at Pacioretty, he didn't have a goal in this series. That was a big issue, especially when, this guy is viewed as a 40-goal scorer and you can't score a single goal in the series. That doesn't look good. Galchenyuk, well, what can we really say about what he did in the series? Right?
Yeah.
The main guys that needed to be firing on all cylinders for Montreal simply were not firing on all cylinders. And again, their lack of goal scoring in the regular season crept into this playoff series. And ultimately, in my opinion, that's what killed them in this series.
Yeah, I mean, Bergevin went out and got a few big bodies like King and a few other ones. I thought Jamie Benn was an absolutely stellar pickup. That was basically the only one that worked out.
He looked great.
Yeah, all the other ones, like he acquired size, but size isn't going to do you anything when those guys are so slow and not talented. If you have a big guy and he's talented, that can be effective. Joe Thornton's a big guy, but he's effective. Brian Boyle is a big guy, but he's effective. Mm-hmm. Is King an effective big guy? He's not, in my opinion.
Well, he definitely filled a need that Montreal had. However, the bigger need was goal scoring, which unfortunately they were not able to fill at the trade deadline. And, they just kind of rolled with it and thought, well, hey, maybe we can make this work. We can swing it. But unfortunately, it crept back into the playoffs. Even after the regular season, they just can't score enough.
Yeah, and I like Max Pacioretty, but it was so frustrating watching him this series. His lackluster effort to get back to the bench after line changes, his poor play along the boards, he was so soft. He never won barely any puck battles along the boards. It was pathetic. He had the most shots on net, I think, for Montreal. Nothing in.
He did.
And a lot of analysts said, Pacioretty had a good series. He had the most shots on net. I don't care. I don't give a shit if he had 20,000 shots. If he can't score, that's a problem. He's paid to score. He's paid to perform.
Mm-hmm. This is great. This time, you're riled up.
I'm pissed off.
Not me.
I really like Pacioretty as a person. I think he's extremely humble.
Yeah.
I think he's very respectful. I said this the other day to someone else. I can't remember who. Do I think the Montreal Canadiens should trade Pacioretty? No. I think his regular season performance based on his salary is acceptable. Do I think that Max Pacioretty should be the captain of the Montreal Canadiens? Absolutely not. He should be stripped of his captaincy because he does not lead by example, and that's an issue. And it's like the guys don't listen to him. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but in my personal opinion, Shea Weber should be the captain next year of the Montreal Canadiens. And I feel bad for saying that because, like I said, I do like Max Pacioretty as a person, but as a leader, I don't think he's the right person for the team.
I would peg Gallagher. To me, that guy's heart and soul, and I love what he brings to the game.
He had a great series.
Yeah, if Gallagher was the captain of the Montreal Canadiens, wow, I think that would be phenomenal. Pacioretty, to me, he's the type of guy who doesn't come off to me as the greatest communicator in the world, and very rare, they pan the bench or setting up on a face-off. I don't really see him communicating a lot with his team, and that kind of bothers me.
Yeah, I totally agree. And get like Galchenyuk. he was at center, and then he was on a wing, and then he was on the fourth line, and then he was on the second line. It's like
consistency.
a part of me like wants to give him the benefit of the doubt, and that he's being moved around so much that he can't find the groove to play with someone. But I mean, it's been the story over the past 2 years. He's been moved around so much, not just under Julien, but under Michel Therrien as well.
Right.
Like,
yep.
What's going on here? In my personal opinion, the Montreal Canadiens should trade Alex Galchenyuk.
I think there's still kind of a toss-up on what exactly they're going to do with the guy. Yeah. It's making the headlines even today on what Montreal is going to address going into next season, and his name just constantly comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to switch back over to the Rangers here for a second. Lundqvist played absolutely amazing, and he totally surprised me because his numbers versus Montreal this season and really in the past haven't been that amazing. For whatever reason, he has a hard time with Montreal. But he played unbelievable in this series, and full marks to him. He deserves to go on to the second round. And in some games, he kept the Rangers totally in the game. Like, if it wasn't for him, Montreal probably would have won a few of those games. So, and Chris Kreider was, I thought, invisible. I thought he was nowhere to be seen, and I felt that way about a few other Rangers players too. But I'm wondering now that they've got a series under their belts. They're a bit more into the groove. They can relax a little bit more and carry on into Ottawa. But so I'll just ask you, how do you think Montreal's going to do next year?
Next year, could that be the final year of seeing Carey Price in Montreal?
Very possible.
It's very possible. He's only got a window of maybe 6-7 solid years left before he really starts to get up there in age. He's going to want to have a chance to win a Stanley Cup, and to me, he's still the best goalie in the world, in my opinion. And unfortunately, Montreal management just haven't been able to build that solid Cup contending team in front of him. And maybe after next year, he'll say, "Hey, adios! I'm going to hit free agency and cash in, and make a bucket load of money and go somewhere where I have a really solid chance of winning." Now, for Montreal next year, I kind of see the same thing. I think they'll be right in that, upper echelon in the Atlantic where they could possibly compete for a top spot. But unfortunately, I just don't think they will be able to address the lack of goal scoring to the amount that they would need to have solid playoff success.
Yep.
And I think a lot of it, sorry to say, comes down to key players not wanting to play in that market. They don't like that insane spotlight in a market like Montreal or even like Toronto. A lot of players kind of frown on it. And it's very hard for them to lure free agents. I mean, when was the last time Montreal lured a huge free agent on free agent day? I can't even think of a name right off the top of my head. It's been a big issue for them. And, when Alex Kovalev is looked at as your last huge superstar, minus, Carey Price, that kind of speaks volumes, because how many years has it been now since he's played for Montreal?
Yeah.
And he was their last, really, really insane goal scorer next to Pacioretty. But Pacioretty, unfortunately, was not able to bring that to the playoffs as he did in the regular season. And that's a huge issue.
Yeah, and there was guys who played well for Montreal during the series, like Gallagher. Like you said, I'm not a big fan of Shaw, but I thought he had a pretty good series. Lehkonen had a really good series.
I like Dodd as well. I like what he brought. He's not out scoring a goal every game, but he's agitating and he's doing his role. He bought into his role, and to me, he was effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ben had a great series, and
Love Ben.
We would be fools to not mention Radulov, because he was unbelievable this series. Yeah, the guy wants to win, and he probably wants to win more than anyone else on the team.
Yeah.
And when he scores or when someone else scores, I've never seen a happier person on the ice. He loves to win.
Yeah, he does, and he was so competitive in this first round series. If everybody had to play to the caliber of Radulov, we might be congratulating Montreal right now.
Yeah,
he was a beast.
Like, sorry to say, but Galchenyuk, Beaulieu, even Pacioretty, maybe if they go out the door, I won't be sad. So, how do you think the Rangers will do next year?
I think about the same, to be honest.
I think so too.
It seems like there's this, I don't know, this aura around New York that lures players in and they want to play for the Rangers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But there's so many players that do. I mean, you look back at Rick Nash and then Eric Stahl going there, and, St. Louis when he went there. I mean, it's just players want to play in New York.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. But
yeah, it's a weird thing. Maybe it's the Big Apple, or I don't know.
Could be, yeah. Who knows?
Tough to say, but yeah, I could see them being a competitive team. I mean, hey, look what Lundqvist is doing right now in the playoffs. If he can keep that play up for several more years, New York will be a serious contender.
Absolutely. So we'll wrap it up there. And in the essence of time, I mean, there's so many other things we could say, but just in the essence of time, we're going to keep this short. We're going to be previewing all the round 2 series coming up. But we're going to finish our recaps of round 1 right now. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hope you hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to let us know down below in the comment section how you felt about this series. Were you surprised that the Rangers won, or were you sad that the Rangers won? Let us know down in the comments. We definitely want to know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Adios. Okay, how's that?
You remember your intro this time?
Yeah, I think so.
That was funny.